Like sometimes I'm like, man, thank God I wasn't born cisgendered. I mean, like I'm already white, so like I don't know. I guess that's cool.
First question. The first question is, when did you first realize you weren't cisgendered?
I remember kind of like being in the car with my mum, and I just had this moment where I was like, oh, I'm definitely not a girl, and at the time I kind of thought it meant that I had to be male, but at the same time it was still like this moment of intense clarity that really kind of made me like burst into tears because it was just very like intense.
One memory I have is when I had a friend round and they were like a trans woman.
Yeah.
And they were playing guitar in the living room and I was having a shower. And I just had this like very, I don't know, I was overcome with this kind of feeling of not being what I thought I was or what I had expected to be. So it's like a shower thought. My gender is a shower thought.
Whoa, cool. That's amazing.
Love this word. I'm not too sure what's age, but I guess being Samoan growing up, I was always, as the youngest, I was always the one doing the chores and stuff. So for me as a kid, feeling like I was a female inside, I was like, why am I mowing the lawns? Why am I doing all the stuff that I'd see like males do? And why can't I just be inside the kitchen cooking or cleaning? So I think, yeah, at a very young age I knew I wasn't cis.
Yeah.
Should I ask this question? Okay.
I love this basket.
It's a good basket. What are the biggest issues you face today as a gender diverse person?
Dating! Yeah, dating's a major thing. Even though it's not really that big, but for me, I've never got to experience that kind of full love that I see on television and what I see cis people do. So I think, yeah, dating's always a weird thing because they're either too toxic and they don't want to be out with you in public, or they don't want to know you, or they want you to be their dirty little secret. So you never get to have that love that you see. But maybe one day. Yeah.
I don't know. I find just going outside. I find that a big issue. Yeah, especially since I've moved house recently, and like the area I was in was like right next to a university, and so like there wasn't many issues in regards to like harassment. But yeah, just being in like a new space where there's like a lot of different people moving through an area at a time, there's a lot of like kind of, I don't know, it's like nasty comments and feeling threatened and stuff like that.
I think also like correcting family members, like because you love them so much that you just don't want to be like. Because I remember like I'll tell my cousin she, but she'll be like, but I knew you as a boy growing up, so why can't I get a pass? And I'm just like, because it's not really respectful to what my life is at the moment. Yeah. I guess, that's one of the hard things, as well as like definitely going on having anxiety over how people perceive you, so you kind of have to put on your war paint. To go out and call it Judgment Day every day.
Yeah. Okay. A study found that 56% of trans or non-binary people had thought about attempting suicide in the last 12 months. 37% had made an attempt at some point. What needs to change in New Zealand to combat these shocking statistics?
Yeah, more education, I guess more visibility, more opportunities for us so that they know that we exist and we're out here and we're humans just like everyone else. And like probably more conversations in like little communities around New Zealand, just talking about queer diversity, whether it's like a tour around or something. I don't know, reaching out to those communities, especially in South Auckland. there needs to be a lot of education there when it comes to like being visible as a queer person and existing.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, definitely education and representation are like two really important things. Like the reason why my nan understands trans people is because of National Geographic and Shortland Street. Or like she understands like some of who I am, I guess. Just economic inequality doesn't help any of these situations at all. Queer people and people of colour and Māori Pacific people are often have less kind of financial security. And there's like all these things kind of intersect to make stuff worse. So I feel like there's like things that we could do with education, but there's still a huge issue with people, like even if they're not queer, like wanting to kill themselves, right? Like that's and like all these things are connected.
Mental health,
Yeah.
It's all mental health.
So like, this needs to be better access to like those kinds of services, like counselling and healthcare. I want there to be like coming out to be like only like a positive thing, right? Like a future where
Celebrated.
Where it's just like, oh cool, I know more about myself,
Yeah.
and then everyone just like hangs out and has a good
Celebrating
time.
the new year.
Yeah, rather than it being kind of mired and all this other stuff.
You know, and people, not even just that, but also people should be able to feel like they can change their name and maybe they can change it again because it's such a process, but they shouldn't have to feel like, I feel like so often it's kind of looked at like, or maybe I'm just projecting from my own experiences, but I feel like it's like, oh, whoa, you're doing this, so are you just trying to be kind of like buzzy or shocking? But it's like, nah, I'm just figuring my process out.
Yeah, I remember there was a person in Wellington once who came up to me, and he was a really nice man, nice Māori man, but like he was friendly and stuff. But like one of the things he said was like, "Oh, dressing like that doesn't shock us anymore." And I was like, "Well, that's good," because I didn't want to shock you.
I'm doing me, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Question number 4. What are the joys of being gender diverse?
I think for me, it's just made me like a more empathetic person, because I think it's kind of impossible to go through anything hard and not be like a bit more, I don't know, empathetic. Yeah, like sometimes I'm like, man, thank God I wasn't born cisgendered. I mean, like, I'm already white. So like, I don't know, I guess that's cool. Also, it's like a good way to tell if people are kind a lot of the time. I mean, not always, because there's like, some people just don't know about gender diversity or trans, like, they just don't know that people are trans, but it's like, if you tell someone you're trans and it's really chill, then it's probably means you're gonna have like a good friendship, right?
Yeah, I think like you get to be yourself, which is cool, rather than not being yourself, which is like suffocating. Yeah.
The communities are fun too, because I know when I rock up with my queer friends to a place, everyone's just like, what the hell? It's like this intense queer gang that no one can like step to because we're like outnumbered and we look hot. You can't sit with us. And yeah, it's a joyful experience after a night out.
Cool.
I feel like another joy of it is like a kind of, I don't know, I feel like there's a decolonizing aspect to like being genderqueer and like trying to get to, I don't know, for me especially, trying to get to like a identity that's like untouched by, colonization. Not that I can ever really get there because, I'm born in a specific time. But like, there's this like a sense of like, I have ancestors who are, probably cool like me. And that's like that's a joy.
Cool.
Making that connection. Yeah. Ooh. What piece of clothing do you love the most?
Skin.
Yeah.
A lot of skin. I think less fabric is better. Well, especially in summer.
Yeah. It's too
But
hot.
then you have to put on furs and nothing else in winter. That's the ultimate. And a hot jock strap underneath.
Oh yeah.
Big dick energy.
I don't know. I quite like wearing like little. I quite like femme singlets, or like maybe not super femme because I'm still pretty mask, but like I feel like nowadays especially I like wearing femme clothing or like pinks and stuff because maybe when I was younger I didn't feel like I could embrace it because I felt like the world wanted me to wear dresses and things.
Yeah.
But now I feel like if I wear anything femme, it's like no, I can own this because like I know who I am and
Yeah.
and like I'm and
Reclaiming
being
my
femme is
power.
cool. Yeah, yeah.
There's this black skirt that I used to just wear over jeans. It was like my like moving towards wearing like dresses and stuff. And I don't know, that piece of clothing means a lot to me. Just in kind of like, it's like a little signal of something happening, right?
Okay. Where do you feel least safe, and where do you feel most safe?
I feel most safe in ballroom, the Vogue balls, just because like you can be whatever the beep beep you want, and no one's there to judge you, and it's just a community. It's full of people like you, and
Yeah.
very family orientated. That's where I feel the safest, is in ballroom. Least safest place I feel is probably Straight Town, like as in Queen Street, downwards. I don't feel safe there.
Right.
But K Road I feel safe,
Cool.
even though it's not safe, but it's safe because it's a lot more of your people around.
A place that's been consistently safe for me is the flat I'm living at the moment, because it's like where I've met quite a few of my queer friends, and pretty much everyone's queer, and it's like everyone has a really good understanding of boundaries, and we have good conversations, and you just feel like, I feel really loved there, and I feel really accepted, and
That's cool.
yeah, it's cool. And least safe, probably just the same, like being alone at night,
Yeah.
like walking or stuff like that in town.
Do an accent.
Yeah.
What celebrity pisses you off the most? I have a long list.
Holy shit.
Ooh, Chuck Norris.
Ugh,
Yeah.
one chop.
He's like, I think he is about Trump. I don't know. I mean, I haven't looked on the internet lately. I don't Google search Chuck Norris daily, but
Donald Trump. He's an alien.
yeah,
He's cancelled in my world.
yeah.
Johnny Depp's pretty bad.
Oh,
I
yeah,
just
really
hate seeing
bad.
him.
The entire set of Friends.
Sorry, Lisa Kudrow.
Sorry,
Love
Courtney
you.
Cox.
Sorry, Jennifer. Israel Folau.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the last
This is
one.
the last question.
Holy crap. Why do you think some people want to uphold gender binaries?
I think it makes them feel safe, and it's like a control thing and power, and yeah, there's a lot to it.
Like, yeah, gender binaries came to these islands through colonization and through the missionaries, Christian missionaries. And so a lot of it is like upholding a gender binary is upholding capitalism and the colonial nation state. Like there's this, I think there's this fear that if like these things slip, then other things
Right.
can also slip. And people like things staying the same, staying how they've always known it to be, I guess.
I feel like a lot of people love those gender reveal parties.
Oh god.
Like,
So is it safe to say gender reveal parties are cancelled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you do like a, what is it called, subversive party, where like you cut the cake and then it's like,
Rainbow.
yeah.
A rainbow cake. A rainbow reveal party. I don't
Well, it's
know.
just like we just don't know yet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just don't have one, save money.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we have enough money to have a gender reveal party? That's what I want to know.